question the headline. That is my big takeaway for you guys today. Question the headline. Why is that when all I see are these headlines and news about home prices actually going down? And maybe you're even following Zillow and seeing more days on market and a lot more price reductions and everything. So I want to dive right into that, actually. And the first thing I want to do is actually draw attention to 3 different articles that I've seen recently, and actually go past the headline and let's open the article and look at it and see everything that they're saying. And it's really going to show you guys exactly, just in these 3 articles, what I'm talking about here. So let me share my screen. All right, so I have a Google alert set up for real estate. And I get this every single day so that I can stay on top of the news. If there's anything you like on Google or that you like to read about every day, I highly recommend you set one of these up yourself. But the headlines are kind of crazy. And one thing that I like to say is headlines do a lot more to terrify than clarify. But I clicked on a few of these. This one caught my attention. Home prices dropping fast. This is a video. It says crash starts now. So that's one of the things I clicked on here. Another one from a day or 2 later was this Yahoo article. Housing prices, we're looking at 10 to 20% discount off retail prices, and investor says. Had to check that out. The housing market is far from normal. Here's what 5 economists and real estate, it's probably in real estate, think will happen next. Obviously, maybe even scary, but click-worthy headlines. It's like, why not? Let's look at these. And these are literally 3 and maybe the 4 that I clicked on lately. And what they all say, I don't want to play this entire video, but I encourage you guys to check these things out and really go past the headlines, because this guy, who's actually pretty smart, Andrew Finney, he's got this, clickbait, basically dropping fast, housing crash starts now. But you go through here and he actually talks about 5 markets where the housing trends are actually really cooling down, and that's where we're getting a lot of our headlines from. There are certainly places around this country where home prices were extremely inflated over the past couple of years, and now they're dropping because the main reason that I found is with home prices going up so much in those areas, a lot of investors and home builders were like, oh, we need to have more inventory there. And they start building homes, which is obviously takes a little while to do. And now that the housing market is cooling down, or interest rates are going up and there's less buyers in the market, these places are actually getting hit pretty hard with these lower rates. So in this section right here, he talks about Seattle, Las Vegas, San Jose, California, San Diego, California, Sacramento, and Denver, all losing value. And a lot of these are projections as well, but lower price per square foot and a bigger discrepancy between list price and sales price. So that really does justify much of the general headlines that you see around here, or even things that you might be seeing on Zillow, where there's like price drops happening, things staying on market for longer. Yes, it is certainly happening. And what I would like to say to that is, it really depends exactly where you are, because there are big areas across the nation that are seeing this much more significantly than we are. This one I really want to draw attention to, segueing into it. So this guy, actually, it's a video, and this is just the transcript. You should check this one out as well. This is on Yahoo Finance, and they interview this guy who goes through, he's a CEO, Bruce McNeilage. Kinlick Partners is a company that invests in new construction, and it's basically a real estate investment trust. And he's talking about how a bunch of these home builders, exactly what I said, built a lot of these homes off speculation, off of what was happening in the market. And now that prices are down and there's much less buyers in the market, they are trying to basically wholesale these properties to investment firms like his. And a lot of these things are off market. And he even says this, that they're not open to the general buyer. They're not open to the general public. The builders that are building these places are selling them off in huge chunks at a time, entire subdivisions at a time. and giving 10 to 20% discounts for real estate investors like him that want to buy it. And a big reason of that is because a lot of these big builders need to meet a year-end quota. So they would rather have this stuff off of their books, maybe at a bit of a loss, than have it carry on into 2023. So that's another big reason why we're seeing some of the headlines that we're seeing. And another article that I want you guys to check out too, if you trust me here, is this one on Market Watch. And what they really do, even though the headline is intriguing, I will say, is they go through predictions. Mortgage rates are continue to rise, probably for a little bit, but they're not going to stay that way. Maybe continued deceleration of home prices. And that's one thing that this guy talks about in his YouTube video, just the difference between saying crash and correction, or using words like, depreciation and deceleration. The more accurate term in general to use is deceleration and correction, which aren't very popular right now. They're not going to get you as many clicks. But what we're seeing here is home price gains will continue to slow 5%. Basically, appreciation is going to decelerate, but there are very few segments of the market that are actually going to fall into the depreciation zone, which basically means in the red, where like houses, instead of growing year over year in price, are actually going to lose their value for a while. That is not what we're expecting for the most part of the country. And I would argue that an area such as Hudson County or Bergen County, where we're very close to Manhattan, you really can't build much more real estate. We're pretty jammed in here, and therefore supply is not going to rise, at least not in a meaningful way compared to the demand for the amount of housing that this area requires, simply because there's so many jobs in this area. So we're going to be one of the last places to be affected by this, and we're going to be one of the first places to bounce back after this correction does actually happen, and the correction will happen and come back to the market. It's the pendulum's got to swing back the other way. Luckily, we are pretty insulated from it here. Prediction number 3, there's a lot of variation between markets. Exactly what I was just saying. And what the other guy in his YouTube video is saying, like, yes, you are seeing these headlines, but it's very specific to certain segments of the markets. We have to put this stuff into perspective and keep that in mind. And my next video, and something I want to start doing more often, is really just like breaking down these segments of the market. So that is upcoming here this week. I promise we're going to look at different affordability sections of the market and different areas for sure, and just really piece this together, especially in a hyper-local area like Hudson County. It's going to be interesting to look at because there is a big discrepancy even between, Hoboken and Weehawken, even though we're neighbors. Prediction number 4, buyers will have less stressful shopping experience. Amen to that. I actually believe that this is going to be this correction is a good thing. It might be violent right now in the way that it's happening, but it's unhealthy to be in a market where, to be a buyer, to get an offer accepted, you've got to like a bid over asking and waive the appraisal and waive the inspection and offer cash. It's just not a healthy way to be in a market. I mean, granted, I'm not knocking anyone that had to do that recently. But that's not a sustainable model for a healthy real estate market. So being able to bring people back to the negotiating table, having buyers and sellers have to talk things out a little bit more and make some concessions is a much better way to be moving forward. I'm actually excited about that. So these 3 articles, I just want to jump in and highly recommend. And anything else that you guys are seeing, like, question the headline. That is my big takeaway for you guys today. Question the headline. You see these things, they're trying to get your clicks, and so do it. Click on it and actually read the article, because I'm sure what you will find is that this stuff is either, inaccurate, very specific to a certain part of the market, or actually just, the article itself, the thing you're reading is quite different, or a little bit of a bait and switch from what the headline is. So check this stuff out. If you don't believe me, I hope you do. But yeah, as always, appreciate you guys. I'm always here to help you out, answer questions. This is what I do. So find me where you find me and reach out any way you can. Thanks. Take care.